Welcome back, everybody, to the Tennessee Titans franchise here on Madden 23. We have made it to the trade deadline, and our Titans are in a pretty interesting spot as we don't look like obvious buyers, but I don't know if we're doing bad enough to where we want to sell off a lot of pieces. We're currently 3-3 coming off our Week 7 bye week, and we've got some pretty tough decisions to make. We've also got our Week 8 matchup here against the 2-5 Denver Broncos. So we've gotten off to an up and down start this season. We've had some close wins. We've had some close losses. We are coming off a nice victory on Sunday Night Football against a really good Buffalo Bills team where our defense was phenomenal a week after getting cooked by Baker Mayfield and the Carolina Panthers. Even though we're 3-3, I feel like the team is playing pretty well. I don't think there's any clear weakness with this team that needs to really be addressed at the moment. Our young guys are producing. I think the defense has been better than it was last year, and the offense has been pretty good considering we've got a rookie quarterback at the helm. Let's take a look around the league here, trying to get a look at which teams look like contenders and which teams look like bottom feeders. The reigning Super Bowl champion Cincinnati Bengals are back. The Jaguars lead the South. We're a game and a half behind them. Keep in mind they did beat us earlier in the year. And then New England and Kansas City lead their respective divisions. The AFC West appears to be very close. The NFC North, pretty bad with the Bears leading. And then you've got the Bucs, Cowboys, and the surprise of a league, the Cardinals at 6-1 leading the NFC West. Here are some of the teams at the top who you may see buyers at the deadline, and some of these teams at the bottom are going to be more likely to sell off pieces to some of those contenders for draft picks. I want to take a look at our team's stats on the year just to try to figure out maybe where we can improve. So far, I'm happy with how our rookie quarterback Romeo Colucci has performed. He hasn't necessarily lit the world on fire, but he looks like he belongs. He's played pretty well through 6 games. He hasn't made too many mistakes, and I think he has been an upgrade to what Malik Willis was. The ground game has been pretty solid with Derrick Henry and Elijah Bryant complement each other. I think the receivers have been a little bit inconsistent. The drops have been kind of an issue, but I do like the guys we currently have on the roster. The offensive line has been pretty good. The linebackers have been good. The pass rush has not been great, but it is better than last year. And then I think the secondary, minus the Carolina game, has been pretty good as well. And then the special teams has been solid too, even though Randy Bullock obviously is no longer perfect with his kicking. So I don't really know where we need to improve this team, but I don't want to sell. I would rather go out and get a piece to try to push us into the playoffs. We've made it to the postseason the past 2 years. We've won a playoff game the past 2 years. So rather than going backwards, I just want to keep going forward. And we do have a bunch of players who are on the final year of his contract, but I would rather commit to those players in the future rather than trading them away. Guys like Kyle Pitts, Caleb Farley, and Chidobe Awuzie. I want to be mindful of what positions we are currently banged up at because maybe we can get a short-term upgrade, and one of those positions is tight end. Kyle Pitts is going to be out for the next 2 weeks, and he's on the last year of his deal. We don't know if he's going to be here long term, so I looked at the trade block, and I'm pretty intrigued here by Muhammad McBride, the tight end of the Detroit Lions. McBride was a third-round pick a few years ago. He's the backup to TJ Hawkinson, and he can start over Kyle Pitts for the short term being. And again, if we don't re-sign Kyle Pitts, who I do think has been good this year when healthy, he did miss most of Week 6 and Week 2, but when he's been healthy, he's been pretty good. However, he wants a lot of money. He doesn't seem all that interested in coming back unless we overpay him. So if we don't bring him back, McBride could be a really good backup option. With him being behind TJ Hawkinson throughout his entire career, he's never really gotten a chance to prove himself, but he is a pretty good player, being an 80 overall with star development. He played a little bit as a rookie, but just really has not seen the field at all over the last 2 seasons. And even when Kyle Pitts comes back, I wouldn't mind running more 12 personnel to try to get him on the field. They need some help at linebacker, and we've got young guys like R.J. Robinson and Asher Gonzalez playing very well there, so we don't really need Akeem Davis-Gaither, who's been pretty good for us, and he's played quite a bit, 180 snaps through 6 games. He usually plays between 18 and 35 snaps a game, minus the Colts game where he had over 50. But I don't think we need him because of the other guys we have on the roster. Detroit has Zach Cunningham and then some younger players behind him. I don't think they really like Travis Talignan all that much. They drafted him in the 3rd round a few years ago out of UCF. He hasn't really gotten a ton of playing time, and I think maybe we want to take a shot on him. He could be an interesting developmental piece. So I'm going to offer them Davis Gaither and a future 7th for McBride and Talignan, and they will say yes. I didn't think they were going to accept it, but I'm not complaining. So Akeem Davis Gaither and a 7th round pick are off to Detroit for Mohamed McBride and Travis Talignan. McBride comes from the University of Oklahoma, so he's got some familiarity with our quarterback Romeo Coloci. They never played together at the same time. McBride's senior year was when Romeo was still a backup, but they are familiar with each other and they were on the team at the same time, so maybe there's a little bit of chemistry. As for Travis Talignan, he might be able to see the field. He'll be good depth at linebacker for now, and maybe we can develop him. We do need to cut a player, so we will be removing Jewel Jackson off of the practice squad, and then we will be releasing tight end Ezekiel Ayutundo, who will be taking his spot on the practice squad. We only have 2 players lower than 70 overall. Our roster is like ridiculously deep, but it'll be Ayutundo who takes that spot on the practice squad. Let's take a look to moves around the rest of the league. That'll be the only trade we make this year because, again, there weren't really any obvious holes for this team to get better at, and there aren't really any good players on the roster who I want to trade. I do think the rest of the league, however, did make this out to be a pretty exciting deadline. We'll start with the Minnesota Vikings, who have been pretty disappointing so far in the Cade Hutchinson era. They'll be trading away offensive tackle Brian O'Neill to the Cardinals for a 3rd and a 5th. The Arizona Cardinals are 6-1. Look at them trying to go for it, take advantage of their championship window, and they are not done. They will be acquiring Emmanuel Ogbah from the Miami Dolphins, trading a 4th round pick next year and swapping a 6 for a 7. The Dolphins are the only team in the NFL without a win, so it makes sense that they would be sellers, and the Cardinals are going all out. The Pittsburgh Steelers have been major disappointments this year. They'll be trading Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Dallas Cowboys for a 2nd and a future 5th, bolstering Dallas's secondary. The Cowboys won the Super Bowl 2 years ago and are looking to get back there after missing the postseason last year. The next trade we have is another pretty big one. Devontae Smith going to the Chargers for a 2nd round pick. I talked about Devontae Smith as a player we could have targeted during the draft. Obviously, we went for Kyle Pitts instead. The Eagles have been pretty bad, and they have not re-signed Smith long-term, so he'll be traded to the Chargers, joining forces with Keenan Allen and Quez Watkins in what should be one of the best receiving trios in the league. He's not the only receiver on the move, however. Tyler Lockett is going to the Atlanta Falcons for a 5th and a future 7th. The Falcons haven't been all that good this year, but they want to add another weapon for their young quarterback, Sidney McDonald, and they don't have to give up a whole lot to do it by getting the veteran Lockett, who has spent the last 11 years of his career with the Seattle Seahawks. So those are the trade deadline moves around the league. We've got some big ones for sure, with the Cardinals going all in, a lot of big weapons being traded along with Minkah Fitzpatrick. Let's take a look at these Denver Broncos, who have made the playoffs in each of the first 3 seasons of this series, but this year they have not been so good. They're 2-5. They did win their last game against New England, but they have been a major disappointment. Russell Wilson has not really been cooking. Wilson is 35 years old on the last year of his deal. He hasn't been all that good this year, and I'd be very surprised if Denver brought him back, especially considering they drafted DeAndre Smith in the 1st round last year, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Smith take over the starting role pretty soon. They've got some good weapons, though. Dalvin Cook, Elijah Mitchell, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Darnell Mooney, and former Tennessee Titan O.J. Howard. They've got a really good secondary led by Pat Surtain and Justin Simmons, and they've got other former Titans on this defense, including Christian Fulton and Rashaan Evans. Evans was not on our team during this series, but he is a former Titan by definition. But nonetheless, this Denver Broncos team is not the best. We're 2-5. Hopefully we can get a win here coming off our bye week, and before that, coming off a great Sunday night win against the Buffalo Bills. The Titans will be rocking their Houston Oilers throwback jerseys. They usually wear this jersey combo once a season, and they're going to be wearing it here today against the Denver Broncos. We'll see if the Titans can get over 500 or if the Broncos can get the upset here in Nashville. Denver will open up with the football. Russell Wilson on 1st down is intercepted. Don't let Russell Wilson cook because he's going to burn down the kitchen. Caleb Farley with the pick 6. And the Titans are on the board just minutes into the ball game. A big-time play by Caleb Farley, a player who the Titans certainly see in their long-term plans and will hope to extend him before the offseason. Denver's moving the ball slowly but surely here on their next drive as Wilson connects with Darnell Mooney for the first down, bringing them into the red zone. I think the reason why Denver has been successful this drive is rather than letting Russ cook, they're having Russ hand it off to Cook. Dalvin Cook's been making some plays on the ground. Now in the red zone, they're letting Russ go to work as he connects with Courtland Sutton, the big-bodied receiver with the touchdown, and the Broncos tie it up. We'll finally get a look at the Titans offense, who gets their first possession here with the game tied at 7. On 3rd and 4, Romeo Colucci launches a dot for Treylon Burks, yet another player who is currently in the final year of his deal. He's a guy who could have been traded, but the Titans wanted to keep him around. 3rd and 2. Colucci looks to throw it, and he will connect with Scotty Pickens, who will bring it to the 25-yard line. Romeo's looking good on this opening drive, 3 for 3, as that'll wrap up the first quarter. Tied at 7, headlined by a Caleb Farley pick 6, and then a long Denver scoring drive. The Titans are still on their first offensive possession of the game, as on 3rd down, it's a short throw under pressure for Derrick Henry, who's able to get the first down. Really nice play by Romeo Colucci. With the defender in his face, he still makes the play. That was Christian Fulton, by the way, number 19. That's a weird number for a corner, with the tackle. Tennessee would get it to the 1, but they would not be able to punch it in as Derrick Henry is stopped on 3rd and inches. 4th and 2 at the 3. The offense is going to stay on the field. Tennessee will go for it. Colucci looks to go short. It's caught by Muhammad McBride. His first catch as a Titan, and he does not get the first down. So Denver gets the goal line stop, and this game will remain tied at 7. Great job by the Denver defense. There's one problem, though. Since they're backed up in their own end zone, their offense is not going to be able to do anything. Juan Thornhill with a nice tackle, stopping O.J. Howard, the former Titan, from getting the first down as we go to the following punt. Here's Rocket Reddick with the return. Big play for Reddick as he will make it all the way to the 25. So it's like the Titans get the ball back with really good field position, and their failed 4th down doesn't even really matter in hindsight. Elijah Bryant on the second play of the drive gets it all the way to the 2. A big gain of 23 for Eli Bryant, and now the Titans are going to look to punch it in, and unlike the last drive, they will be successful. Derrick Henry untouched into the end zone as the King has entered his castle, and the Titans are back ahead as it is now 14-7. Good job by the offense to respond after their failure on the previous possession, and thus Denver will get it back. About halfway through the quarter, it's a handoff up the middle for Dalvin Cook. He makes a nice play past the 50. Cook has spent his entire career with Minnesota, but was traded this past offseason as the Vikings have turned over the running back position to former Georgia Bulldog Patolomayo Malualu. On 3rd and 5, Wilson will throw it away. Good pass rush and coverage by the Titans. Denver's going to kick a field goal here on 4th and 5. It's a 60-yarder, and it is no good. And it was pretty clearly no good as soon as he kicked it. The distance wasn't half bad, but definitely not accurate, not even close. So the Titans get it back, 2nd and 1. There's a nice play by Muhammad McBride in his first NFL start as he gets the reception. 1st and goal, handoff to Derrick Henry with blocks, and he will stumble his way in for a touchdown. Derrick Henry's 2nd score of the quarter, and the Titans lead it 21-7. Denver looking to score late here in the half. Good short throw by Russell Wilson. Russ has only thrown 2 incompletions, but he's been playing a dink and dunk style of football all day with a lot of checkdowns. Nice run by Dalvin Cook. He's already at 74 yards. He's been very efficient on the ground today. 3rd and 2 at the 7 with 30 seconds to go in the half. Wilson goes short. That'll get the first down to the 1. Denver has to be mindful of the clock, however. They do still have a timeout at their disposal. Russ on 1st and goal. His pass is caught in the end zone by Judy, but he backtracked out of the end zone and will lose a yard. Denver calls a timeout. Now we're down to 7 seconds. No more timeouts. It's 3rd and goal. Russ has to get it out quickly, and he does. Courtland Sutton with his 2nd touchdown of the game, and the Broncos bring it within 1 possession going into halftime as it's 21-14. Good drive to end the half by Russell Wilson. Denver needed that one. They could not afford to go into halftime down by 2 scores. Let's take a look at our halftime report around the rest of the league. We will start in Kansas City. Our rival, the Indianapolis Colts, head to Arrowhead to face off against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. The weather may be gloomy, but Justin Jefferson is groovy, showing off the dance moves after the touchdown as the Kansas City Chiefs lead at 16-7 here at the break. The more Colts losses, the better for Tennessee. It seems like the Colts are going to be well within this race for the division, which currently Jacksonville has the lead in, but it looks like it's going to be a three-way race. Baltimore heads to Buffalo to face off against the Bills, and Lamar Jackson's going to show you what he can do. He may be a quarterback, but he's got unbelievable rushing ability. Look at him go here as he dives into the end zone, trying to jump over Tre'Davious White. He'll get the touchdown anyway as the Ravens lead it by the score of 21-7. Lamar with a passing and rushing touchdown here in the first half. And finally, we will head to Duval County, Jacksonville, Florida. The AFC South leading Jaguars face off against the Rams. Right now, it's Trevor Lawrence's world, and we are just living in it. Lawrence has more touchdowns, 3, than incompletions, 2. The Jaguars currently lead the Los Angeles Rams 21-7 here at the halftime break. Hopefully, the Rams can come back and get the win because we do not want Jacksonville winning all these damn games. So as we go into the second half, I feel like our offense has barely had the ball. We've had good field position often, but we haven't really gotten many consistent drives from the offense. And then defensively, Russell Wilson has gone for short passes most of the game, so that's where we're going to try to defend, really anything within 15 yards. Derrick Henry looking to get the ground game going early in the third. Henry only had 13 yards in the first half, but he did score twice, so his fantasy owners can't be too mad. On first down, nice throw up the middle for Treylon Burks, who will gain 17 yards. Romeo's been really efficient today. He just hasn't thrown the ball a whole lot because, well, the Titans haven't had the ball a whole lot as he gets it to Quinn Crew, who brings it to the 4. First and goal. Colochi looks to throw it up the middle, and it's caught by Hot Rod Pryor for the touchdown, and the Titans will extend their lead as they're back up by 2 scores. 28-14, now your score. The Broncos will get it back here. We'll see if their offense can respond. Hand off to Dalvin Cook with room up the middle. He is wrapped up by Caleb Farley, but not before bringing it to the 35. Cook nearly at the century mark in yardage. Wilson on second down goes short for Cook, who annihilates the defender. That was Gonzalez, and he will get the first down. Denver's marching it, but they have the 3rd and 15 backed up at the 26-yard line. Russell Wilson looks to throw it. He's under some pressure from Harold Landry. Goes short. It is caught by Mooney, who is wrapped up out of bounds by Cardell Simpson. So the Titans get the stop. That'll bring out the field goal team. Good job by the defense to keep it as a 2-score game, as it is now 28-17. We'll see if the Titans can look to put this game away early, sooner rather than later. On third down, Colochi goes short. Hit as he throws, incomplete. And that will pretty much wrap up the third. The Titans appear to be in a good position. They lead 28-17. We'll see if they can hold on to their lead or if the Broncos can get a big comeback. 2nd and 4. Nice throw by Wilson. Somewhat down the field finally as he gets it to Courtland Sutton, who brings it to the 48. Sutton with both of Denver's touchdowns today. On 2nd down, short pass is hauled in by O.J. the Juice Man Howard, who will get it to the 42 for another first down. Now a 3rd and 2 from the 34 here for the Broncos. 7:15 to go. Wilson looks to throw it, and it is dropped. Caleb Farley had another pick 6 right in his hands, but he doesn't make the play. So Denver's going to go for the field goal. I don't mind this call. Make it a 1-score game. However, there's one problem. The kick is no good. This time it's wide to the right, and so it will remain 28-17. Now the Titans have a real shot to end this game for good. 2nd and 3. Romeo Colochi looks to throw it. Trying to roll out under pressure, and he is sacked by Bradley Chubb. Against the Bills, Romeo did a great job of outrunning the Bills' pass rushers in certain situations, but he can't do it here as he is sacked again. Rashaan Evans, the former Titan, is there along with Duck Chambers for half a sack each. So Denver gets it back, still trailing by 2 scores. Nice throw up the middle for Darnell Mooney, who gets it to the 43. Mooney and Sutton have been pretty effective today for the Broncos, while Jerry Jeudy has been rather quiet. 2nd down, nice throw up the middle, And that will be another first down here for the Broncos. It's the tight end O.J. Howard making the play. Denver hanging on by a thread, but I guess they're still technically in it. Now at the 2-minute warning, Dalvin Cook with a nice juke move. He will gain 11, bringing it to the 3. Second and goal. Wilson looks to throw it, goes short. It is caught for a touchdown. Courtland Sutton with the hat trick, his 3rd of the game. Denver will now go for 2, trying to make it a field goal deficit. Russell Wilson goes short for Cook, who is annihilated by Harold Landry. So much for that, I guess. The Broncos would surprisingly not go for an onside kick. They trust their defense to get a stop here and to get the ball back. We'll see if it pays off. Their defense has been rather good here in the 4th quarter. 3rd and 8. Game basically on the line for both teams. Romeo Colucci's going to look short. It's a screen for Elijah Bryant with a few blocks, but he will not get the first down. So the Broncos do get the stop, and they will get the ball back with an opportunity to potentially win the game. Will Russ be able to cook? Denver still has a timeout in their back pocket as well, as that pass is hauled in by Jerry Jeudy. About 25 seconds to go now. Wilson, under a lot of pressure, lets it rip downfield. Boink, boink, incomplete. Denver is lucky that the Titans didn't end the game there. They should have picked that one off. The Broncos are already trying to go for a Hail Mary. They still have a timeout. I don't really get why. Russell Wilson taking his time. Now the receivers are just trying to get open, as it is caught here by Mooney, who is tackled at the 33 with no time left on the clock, and this game is over. The Titans will win it 28-23, and they will improve to 4-3 on the season. This was an ugly win, I will say, but it's a win nonetheless. Even though the Broncos are not the best, they're now 2-6. A win's a win in the National Football League, and Denver kept this game going until the final seconds. But the Titans will hang on. They win their 2nd consecutive game and will get to over 500 for the first time since week 1. It's nice having more W's in the win column than L's in the loss column, I've got to say. So this game wasn't necessarily pretty. I don't think the offense was all that great. I mean, we only had 234 yards. We just never really had a whole lot of opportunities to consistently get a groove on offense. The Broncos dominated time of possession. Russell Wilson was kind of good, I guess. Romeo played well in the first half, not so much in the second half. He wasn't as efficient, and he didn't have to throw the ball a ton because, well, it barely felt like we had the ball at times. Denver ran the ball well. We also ran it well, but again, we didn't have the ball a whole lot, so neither Henry or Bryant put up the most ridiculous numbers. Courtland Sutton and Darnell Mooney performed well in the air, while our leading receiver had 32 yards, because again, it felt like we barely had the ball. Because of that, we had a lot of tackles, but we had 0 sacks. For all the plays that Denver ran, no sacks is disgusting. At least we had the pick 6 from Caleb Farley. I guess that was cool. So we're going to simulate the week now, take a look at some of the results around the rest of the NFL here in week number 8. All right, let's see what happened here. Got some interesting scores. The Jaguars did end up beating the Rams, so they are continuing to build a nice lead on us. The winless Dolphins beat the Steelers 45-7. Man, Pittsburgh really stinks. Players of the week, Clyde Williamson, Joe Burrow, Vita Vea, and our very own Caleb Farley. Now that we're in week 9, we can also look at the yearly awards, and currently, Romeo Colucci is the slight favorite for the AFC Offensive Rookie of the Year. And this surprises me a little bit that he's over Justin Tucker. Romeo's been good, don't get me wrong, but I think Justin Tucker's been better. The Raiders were the worst team in football last year. Now they're 5-2, and Tucker's numbers are better. So I feel like it should be him. Also, for what it's worth, he's gotten sacked 4 times. That offensive line must be a brick wall. No wonder he's so good. Okay, maybe Romeo does deserve it. Ezekiel Ayutondo, the tight end we just put on the practice squad, gets picked up by the Lions. I almost put him in our trade, so that's like kind of ironic. That'll bring us to week 9. We've got our next primetime game, Thursday Night Football, against the Houston Texans. I'm not sure if next episode will be a doubleheader or if it will be a prospect profile. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out. Tighten up.